What's going on, fellas? Drama 22 back with another video for you guys this weekend. Spent all night last night thinking about this, and actually had a video ready for you to go, but I decided not to send it out. It was a little too ranty, and I wanted to have some actual, um, information to give you, and something that you guys can kind of chew on a little bit, and work with this weekend or this week coming up here. So, what I worked on was trying to come up with a shorter and more concise game plan for both this Jim Schwartz Y9 and the Wade Phillips attacking 3-4. So, I'll put out the Wade Phillips later on, and really all I did was the playbook is the same. What I did was go into the favorite system and really start to pare down to the plays that I think will work the best. And the goal was to pick plays that don't require a lot of setup. Okay, so talking to one of you guys on the Patreon who hit me up, and it's so funny because we had the same idea. Like, honestly, as I'm working through the playbooks myself and my CFMs and playing with both systems, it is really hard to go up against certain people who snap the ball quick, right? So really what I did was I started with so when you look at it, I'll show you here in a second. When you look at the actual um, favorite list, it'll be organized pretty much this way. This would be the beginning over here, and this would be the end. Okay, so it'll just go from here, and it would just keep on going in this order. And you see how I kind of group things together. So the main thing I really want to talk about real quick is these zone pressures and these man pressures. So I pulled out all the plug and play ones. Those are the ones where you just pretty much pick the play and just run the play. Okay. And if there's any ones that require any type of adjustments, it'd be these 10 blitzes where you are basically blitzing who you want. So you can let the free safety blitz here and free safety fire one. Or if you call some of these other plays, they would just be setups for you, right? So cover one robber press. I got to change this little arrow right here. You're going to just blitz a guy and have to reassign one guy. It's pretty simple. You should be able to get all these adjustments in or just plug and play blitzes. Like over here, all these blitzes over here are plug and plays, meaning you don't have to make any adjustments. Okay. So now that allows you to get lined up quick, right? And that allows you to, as the guy in Patreon that I was talking to had said as well, to start working on offensive tendencies, start looking at the formation, start looking at the personnel. That's the real big thing and the big carryover between these both of these systems, and it's the reason why I chose to replicate these systems. Is that the thinking part of always being in the perfect coverage is actually not important. What's more important is trying to recognize tendencies, thinking about what's going on offense. There were plenty of times in this playbook that I've played guys and I was making adjustments, not thinking about where is DK Metcalf on the field, and maybe I should use the safety and help out. That's what you need to think about. The little things that happen throughout the game that's going to make you pretty much win or lose some games. Okay, so the whole book is here. Again, I have this is very going to be very this is going to be very neat. I'll show it to you on the field so it'll make more sense. But you're going to also don't worry about down and distance so much. I kind of took care of that for you when it comes to especially your nickel and your dime stuff. I kind of took care of that for you. You don't have to really worry about that. So let's just take a look at it on the field. I do believe when you go and look at this later on, I'm going to change this. I think I put the dime next to the nickel, and then the 4-3 stuff is here in the middle. Because most of the time when you come out in games, you're going to be playing a lot of teams that come out in 11 personnel and then, passing situations. And then if you ever do get a team that plays old school, sorry about the drawings here. I know it looks crazy. I'm using the touchpad, not my finger. Basically, this is going to be less used. So I put this in the middle of the book, and then you're going to be using a lot of the stuff in the beginning of the favorite list, and then probably on the back end of the favorite list because it's the easiest way to get to it. All right. So let's jump on the Madden field. Let's take a look at it, and we'll talk about it some more. Okay, so when you go into your Jim Schwartz playbook, right, you're gonna have to set up the favorites yourself. So use the list that I showed you. Like I said, I think I actually did have dime as my next grouping. Yeah, I did. Okay, so and then 4-3. So just take that dime listing and just switch it with the you'll see it when I print out the sheet for you guys or when I give you the attachment, it'll be there for you. So don't worry about the video part. That was more of just a explanation of what you're going to get. So when you go into your favorites, always when you start to build them, it's 57 plays, okay? Just build them from the bottom, all right, to the front. Because whatever you input, whatever you star, highlight, it ends up at the bottom of your sheet. And then at the top of your sheet, it will be the last one that you put in, okay? But as I talk to you today and right now, I'll just talk about it real quick, of just from the top to the bottom. So again, the very first one when you come over, I like nickel and I have wide. That's pretty much the base defense, and you're going to be in this situation a lot. So you're going to see it's going to be very much, I don't want to call it repetitive, but things that are good versus a lot of formations, okay? So nickel cover one holes, the very first one, it's good versus everything. You know that. You're going to use it on first and second down. You're going to use it on third and short, third and medium. Same thing with cover three seam. That's more of your changeup, right? It looks the same. It's the changeup that we can use. It's what Jim Schwartz uses most of the time as his base cover three, which is called 3X in his system. Then you go to cover one robber press. So why is that there? Well, this would be used mostly if you want to use the 57 coverage that I talked about with using the robber press technique. Now, this one does require a little bit of a setup, so it's not like it's the quickest one, but this is the quicker of the two. All right. So right now, even though I talked about using quarters and palms, I wouldn't do that right now. I would just stay out of it. But if it's third and medium, just play robber, okay? And all you gotta do is take the free safety, man them up on number two, right? And then just use this player. That right there is good enough that if they quick snap you, you should be fine. But I would use this on third and three, third and four. We're trying to take away zigs, outs of two, okay? We feel pretty good across the field everywhere else, okay? The only adjustment you might want to consider is playing over the top coverage, okay? So just go from there and just let that thing rock. But that's going to be in there for you. If you want to use it the traditional way, honestly, you can use it on first and second down and just use it as traditional robber. He doesn't really do that too often, but you can play football. This is Madden at the same time, right? So you're going to see those three coverages, those three ideas there for you. More run pass situations like first and second down or short yardage, okay? And then here, the second grouping is going to be more of your third and long or passing situation. So Tampa 2, big call for Jim Schwartz. Cover 6, that's his favorite version of playing match coverage, okay? And then 2-man is just the safe call on third and extra long. You have better people. Let's just get the pass rush going and let's not give up a deep shot, okay? So as you see there, that theme right there in nickel wide is going to repeat itself down here. Oh, I actually did put nickel over G in here as a little bit of a break, okay? So I'll come back to big nickel over G, okay? But just down here, I skipped down to nickel over. You're going to use the same idea with cover one hole, three seam, one robber press, Tampa 2, 6, and 2-man is the exact same calls. So that's the reason why when I talk about making your playbook, and the reason when I made the playbook, I try to keep stuff in order for you guys, kind of in the same idea. But honestly, it didn't really matter because when I come over to the favorites, this is pretty much my call sheet. This is how organized it's going to be, and everything that's put next to each other makes sense. So you have nickel wide, those two rows, then you have nickel. Now skip down to nickel over, you have the same thing. I use nickel over. I try to save nickel over because I don't like it versus run fronts on first and second down sometimes, especially if you're calling a too high shell. You may not get the three technique where you want. So this is where I use my change up of on third down. I use more nickel over, okay? And again, remember on third down, I also have my guys in different positions. So in my D line, I would have whoever are my defensive ends, they would be flipped, and my interior guys would be opposite as well. And you see how it's set up already. I did this in the outside of the CFM screen. This is an actual CFM I'm in. I did it there. So right now Jackson is over here, right, and Beal is over here. That's in nickel over. And then if you go to my first set with the first and second down, I call nickel wide, right? Let's say I call nickel wide Tampa 2. It's going to be the opposite. Beal's on this side, all right, and Jackson's over here, okay? So that's where you see how everybody's opposite. This is where I'm trying to take advantage of the resistance points and getting guys moving around. But pretty much that's the exact same setup as you see on the sheet. Nickel wide and nickel over there. Now, I did put in between the two just so I can have a little bit of like a little, indentation or a little bit of a break. I put in there the big nickel package. Also, this is going to be a package you're going to use a lot against rundowns, okay, on rundowns. So you have big nickel over G, Cover 6 invert is in there. This is newly added. Again, I'm calling cover 6 invert to get the front setup against what? Against the dreaded 3x1 nub formations, right? So when somebody comes on a 3x1 nub, where is it at? Where is it at? Like bunch Y flex is a version of that. Because the Y is by himself, right? What that does automatically is give me that under front look that I want over here for people that want to run inside zone. So I'm calling that front, that play, so that I can audible into other plays, right? So let's just take a look at them. Cover 1 hole, cover 3 seam. 2 easy plays on first and second down, run pass downs, short yardage passing downs, right? And then down here, I got the same setup. You can call cover 2, 6, and 2-man if you want to use the big nickel package for whatever reason on third down, if that's what you want to do, okay? Now you can also use this as another way to kind of like get your guys set up, you know, put different guys in there, have your third defensive end maybe play on this package, okay? Put in 3 DNs if you want, right? So that's kind of the idea. So right now you get an idea. This is the world you're gonna live in, pretty much in all downs and distances, and these are the fronts you're gonna use the most, okay? Now, I do have dime set up, right? I have 1 row of dime, Tampa 2, cover 6, and then cover 3 buzz, because this is where in the Jim Schwartz scheme, the cover 3 buzz is the only time you can get it really. You can move the strength of where the guy buzzes down to out of dime package. So they come out in any formation, all right? Dime buzz looks like that. This is a dime buzz strong, which you don't get often in a lot of the dime buzzes. And this is the way that Jim Schwartz runs it, okay? So that's there for you. You can obviously flip it, right, and get it to become a weak. So understand that. This is a third down call, all right? Again, I also use this package and switch up the defense alignment. I do them in all my packages. I move them around. And this is all set up in my CFM auto, what is it called? Auto formation sub, something like that. It's all set up there, all right? So dime is here. You have that row, and then you have dime rush, the exact same coverages. Really, the 3 buzz seam though is a match coverage. Just realize that. But when you play that coverage, you should be calling sticks and getting your guys to the spot drop, all right? Now, those 2 are there for you. So that's a lot of passing situations. This is pretty much taking care of first down, second down, and third down just from pure coverage, okay? Then here in the middle is all of your 4-3 package stuff, 4-3 wide. It's all there for you, right? And the coverages that I would call, you want to stop the run. You got 1 hole, you got 1 spy, which is a cousin, right? And then if you do want to get into a zone coverage, you would call cover 6. That would be the one that I would call. So let's say somebody's coming out in a lot of different calls and you want to, you know, we don't have cover 3 with the 4-3 wide. We might add it later and start to kind of mess around with it and put those guys into, you know, seams, but we'll worry about that later. But if you've been calling this a lot, if somebody's been coming out in 21 personnel a lot, let's say a 12, and you want to run this, you can. Now just understand, I got caught off guard there. Just understand that the coverage could be aligned to the passing strength. So this is actually cover 9. So I would just flip the whole play. And if that happens, I would definitely consider squeezing the line, okay, and spreading your linebackers. But what you can do here is I would user this safety here and maybe walk down into the box. Give that 8-man front look, but we're playing cover 6. All right, so that's why it's there. That's a realistic situation that I would probably kind of like user and play around with. But you have cover 1, again, cover 1 hole, cover 1 spy, cover 6, okay? Then after that, you're looking at 4-3 over. We have cover 1 hole, cover 1 contain again, and cover 6. You have 4-3 under, all right, hole. Now we do have 3 seam here, so we can use our 3 seam and under, all right? And then we don't really have a cover 6 that I like out of 43 under, so I would use quarters as your change up now, all right? Jim Schwartz does run quarters, but he prefers to run cover 6, all right? Then we have the 4-3 even 6-1, a little bit of a specialized defense, but I have it in there for you for two calls. And I'm going to talk about this in another, I think I talked about it quickly in the video, but this is actually, I like this versus potentially a way to stop people who run a lot of gun run schemes, okay? Another way to stop it. Coming out in this play right here and using this shift over here like this, actually I think does a pretty good job, all right? Now we kind of have the way I would definitely look at this is like we have a double team or like a banjo on the back, all right? So if the back does go out for a pass to the right, you take them. But if he does run inside zone from here, I kind of played around with this, and this kind of opens up wide open for a tackle for a loss as well. Okay, so just I have that in there as like a bonus. I just didn't want to lose it and not have it as a part of the light Jim Schwartz light scheme. Okay. All right, so we're kind of towards the bottom here. When you get towards the bottom, sometimes it doesn't make sense to flip from here. Sometimes it makes sense to just come from down at the bottom and move your way up. Okay. So now we're going to get into, after these plays, and by the way, the gap zero is really just a play to, have in there in case you want to zero blitz somebody. I would save that for like a team that is coming out in 11 personnel and you just want to zero blitz them and try to get heat on 3rd and 1. Okay. Now we have the zone pressures. These are self-explanatory. I don't have to spend a lot of time on this. These are all the zone pressures here. Okay. They start with nickels and then they work their way down to the base 4-3 unders. All right. Then we have our man pressures starting out of the nickels, and then we're going to have the base man pressures here. Okay, so down at the bottom, we already talked about robber one press. This is out of base. If you want to try to work a single linebacker blitz, I think this is still good enough to be considered light adjustments, right? We could just do this guy, I could just blitz him, okay, and just put this guy in man. I don't think that's hard to do. If it's too much, then just maybe focus on, let's just blitz the safety. Okay, we just want him to come running up. It's probably better to do it from the backside, and maybe we show pressure or something like that. But we just want to have it nice and easy, not a lot of adjustments, ready to go. That's called the 10 blitz package. Blitz whoever you think can stop the run. All right, but that's the bottom of that book. And then really the very bottom, is the short yardage fronts. And I didn't talk about short yardage in the video, so let me just give you like 2 minutes on that real quick. I like this versus 21-12, really more about 21, 2 backs in the backfield. So 4-4 split, puts 4 linebackers in there, 4 D linemen. Of course, we got to stop stretch. First adjustment is always try to use the backer to the tight end side in the box. And all I do is just move the line to that direction, slide the whole line that way. You can get a little bit wider if you want, but again, you have to try to think about attacking this play, and whoever you take on the blocker, just make sure you stay outside the play, and a lot of times that ball will get just turned back in and you might get them for a loss. Okay, so that's one adjustment that I would do. Just slant your line to the tight end if you think the ball's going outside. Okay, if you think the ball's going inside, just call the cover 0 pressure that we have. All right, linebacker fire. If you think this could be like more of a 22 personnel grouping, or you're on the goal line or something, and what I would do is just take the free safety and just cheat, because we're probably going to be like 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. My fault. Computer quick, so I wasn't paying attention. You're going to be in a situation where it's like 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. All right. Let me do this again. Squeezing the line just puts those guys in their gaps right away. You hope that this guy, you don't want the linebackers to get blocked. That's why we're down in there early. We're being aggressive so we could take on a blocker. Shouldn't be that wide open. But I played around with that yesterday. If you have a better way to do it, this is more against like 3rd and 1, you think they're going to run inside. We're trying to just basically bust up the front in the middle. All right. Again, if you don't like that, that's perfectly fine. You can use other defenses, but that and cover 3. So 1 and 3 seam are your base calls. And then linebacker fire would be like, gotta have it, I'm blitzing the house. Okay. But that would be more short yardage. I kept it here at the very bottom, but you have your pressures again. Then we work up through all of our, 4-man pass rush stuff. And then, the very top is our base defense that we know and love, called the most, and go from there. So the whole idea, guys, is to give you a short version of the playbook. These plays, I think, are the core essence of Jim Schwartz's defense. And you can line up and call these plays. You can have them all in one place. All right. You can use the sheet if you want, but I don't think you need to use the sheet, because the sheet literally is this. Okay. Like I said, I got to change the dime and move it up, but still the sheet is this. So if you use this, and then now you start focusing on what? Once you play about 5 games of just getting understanding of how to use your favorites, then you start playing games, you can start focusing on your offense. All right. So I'm kind of going through that process myself right now. Been using 2 different playbooks, which has been screwing up my head, but it's okay. And then because both of them kind of have a lot of the similarities that I like, now I'm going to start making sure I focus on offense. I'm going to start game planning, start looking at what people are doing, and then I should be probably winning a lot more games. Okay, so let's just one quick last note. Thanks for watching the video. I know this is a 20-minute video, but just one thing to remember: if you change your playbook So right now, if you're using the custom Jim Schwartz, or let's say you're using a stock book to replicate the Jim Schwartz, if you change your playbook in another game, let's say you have another franchise and you change your defensive playbook and you start the game, or you go into practice mode and you change a playbook in practice mode, or a game versus the computer, right? These favorites will get out of whack. They will get all out of place. So I would highly suggest that if you're going to use a different playbook, use a different profile. Use a different profile that you might have, a different account, to keep these 57 plays in this order. Same thing on offense. If you ever wanted to use the favorite system on offense, but you change your playbook, then you will get your plays out of order. All right, guys? So just understand that. I don't want you guys to put the work in to maneuver these plays the way you want them, and then all of a sudden you go into a game and it's not how you want. All right? All right, guys. Thanks for the time. I'll be doing a video on the Wade Phillips scheme this weekend as well. So I hope you like the Lite schemes. It's kind of a combination of the playbook just condensed into the favorite system, nice and neat for you. This is really good, I think, if you're just starting with a system. Use these plays. These plays should be the core of your system. And the reason why, one last thing, the reason why I didn't just make a playbook of 57 plays and say, just run these plays, you're going to win games. No, is because there is stuff in here that you're going to need, right? Like if you're playing somebody that is really kind of doing something different, and you need to run quarters, right? Or for example, like a team that is running a lot of boots, and you need to go and find some more plays where you have some plays that you don't use that often, but you need it in this situation. You need some contained plays, right? You need some of these crazy pressures, right? You need something, right? You need a cub. You need some more cub defenses because of the fronts that they're giving you. Like, I want to keep that available. This is kind of like real life. Real life is teams carry 300, 400 plays in their pocket in the playbook, but during the game, they pretty much call 50 to 60 of them, right? And if something happens during the game that you don't expect, you still want your 200 plays to be here on the side that you can go back into and troublestorm and whatever. Okay. So troublestorm is not the word, but you know what I'm trying to troubleshoot. Yeah. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you in the next video, man. Peace.